Hello again, Kingston Town Administrator Keith Hickey with the latest edition of This Week in Kingston for the week ending January 17th, 2025. Hope all is well with everybody. As I think I mentioned last week, things are starting to ramp up on budget process and those types of things. So this past Tuesday night, I met with the Board of Selectmen, presented my proposed fiscal 2026 budget. The goal that I was given was to try to meet a 4% spending increase for the budget for the community as a whole. In doing that, the idea was to try to get a sense of what the fiscal 26 budget would look like without needing a Proposition 2.5 override. So I have crafted a budget to meet that goal. Um, all the information is online at our town website, www.kingstonma.gov. You can go through the PowerPoint presentation that I completed, look at the memo that I wrote, and then look at the detailed budget information if you'd like. The challenge obviously is costs continue to increase. Our revenues have dropped primarily because of the lack of growth, because of the water moratorium. So no surprise there. Moving forward with the fiscal 26 budget, as I mentioned, I did meet the 4% guidelines that I was given. I know the Board of Selectmen, the Finance Committee, and the school committees will be discussing whether or not they can support a Proposition 2.5 override, and if so, how much of an override would they be seeking? Um, from the school department's point of view, to get to a 4% budget increase, there's a significant number of employees that would be impacted, primarily teachers. The Kingston School Department started the year with a $1.3 million deficit because they used $1.3 million to balance fiscal 25's budget that they know they wouldn't have in fiscal 26. That has had to have been addressed, which is why they have a $1.7 million deficit. They've got to cut $1.7 million in the fiscal 26 budget to get to 4%, which impacts obviously more so than anything the teachers. The Silver Lake budget was presented last Thursday night to the Silver Lake School Committee. There's also an increase there. By the time this is aired, the meeting that's going to be held on Thursday night, January 16th, a joint meeting of the Kingston School Committee, representatives from Plymouth. Not Plymouth. I apologize. Plimpton, Halifax, and Kingston. The Board of Selectmen chairman, the Finance Committee chairman, and the school committee chairs will all be attending and sitting at the head table. I'm sure members of the boards of selectmen, finance committees, and school committees from the four school groups will be in attendance as well to have a joint meeting to discuss the fiscal 26 budget for Silver Lake. That budget is the school committee, Kingston School Committee, asked that the administrators of the Silver Lake school department come in with a budget of a 2% increase and also a budget of level services. The level services, just like they are in the Kingston school system, are higher than the goal that was asked the superintendent to meet. The Silver Lake School Committee asked for a 2% increase. That's going to be discussed tonight with all the communities in attendance, so we can talk about how to more proactively and collaboratively work together to present a budget for the Silver Lake School Department to meet the needs of the educational needs of the kids and do so with as minimal impact as possible. So again, I think it's going to be a great opportunity for all the communities to work together, share information, share ideas, and try to continue to make the Silver Lake school committee and school department to be as successful as possible. Also discussed tonight will be a regionalization opportunity. So as I think we've talked about in the past, Kingston and Halifax have been working together to apply for a grant to have an organization study the impacts of regionalizing the entire district, and no longer having local school departments. Um, Obviously, it's a fact-finding study in my mind, not trying to take a bias one way or another. Frankly, it's up to the residents of the community as to whether or not they want to regionalize. When it comes down to it, I guess the simple calculation to me is there's an opportunity to save money, eliminate duplications of services if there's regionalization. That's the pro. The con is losing your local authority to be able to unilaterally dictate what Kingston elementary and intermediate schools, how they're going to be funded and how they're going to operate. So it's going to be a different opinion. People are going to feel like if they can save a couple of bucks, it makes no difference to if they regionalize. Others I think, are going to feel as though it doesn't matter how much money people can save. Being independent is more important than regionalizing. And again, all this study is going to do is provide the pros, the cons in a very independent, neutral way. We'll present that information to voters at some point in the future, probably a year from now, and voters can make a decision how they want to move forward. So that'll be discussed as well tonight. We'll try to set up a kind of a subcommittee of all the boards and committees to work with whatever vendor is chosen to do the study for us, and look forward to try to provide some unbiased information for the voters of Kingston, Plimpton, and Halifax to decide how they want to proceed. Again, some other things going on. The Capital Planning Committee started their meetings. They reviewed the police and fire department budgets last evening. They're meeting every 2 weeks on a Wednesday. The off Wednesday nights, the Finance Committee is meeting. They met last week, 2 weeks ago, excuse me. They'll be meeting again next week to start the budget review. As I mentioned during the budget discussion I had just a few minutes ago, at the beginning of the show, there's a more distinct chance of having a Proposition 2.5 override than there has been in the past, and at least in the past, recent past, anyways. The impacts to town services and my budget, as I mentioned, I'm showing a 4% increase in the school budgets, a 5% increase for the fire department, and a 6% for the I'm sorry, 5% for the fire department, and 6% for the police department, with an overall budget increase of 4.12%. The impacts to town services primarily are not filling open shifts, one open shift per shift at the fire department if there was a call out for sickness or something along those lines. So they'd be having 5 firefighters on duty rather than 6 they've had for the last year and a half. The police department had asked for some additional needed staffing in the police department, some additional patrol people, an additional dispatcher, and the establishment of a deputy police chief position. None of those positions are funded in my proposed budget to get to the 4%, nor was some additional training that the police chief would like to see his staff members be able to take advantage of in the upcoming years to have them be a more effective, well-trained police department. Looking to reduce the number of brush chipping days from 7 days to 3 days at the transfer station, a year. Proposing to close the transfer station at 3:45 on Mondays and no longer have late nights on Mondays to try to save some money there. So there are some cuts to services on the town side. I don't know that they're as significant as they may be on the school side of things. But I'm hoping that the school department can finalize a budget sooner rather than later, so the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee can debate and discuss what an appropriate number would be, whether they support the school committee's budget number or not, and if there's a need for a Proposition 2.5 override, we can get that information out to the public as quickly as possible, so the public can have the ability to understand what's being requested and why, ask questions before we get to the town meeting at the end of April. So if there was going to be a Proposition 2.5 question or questions on the town meeting warrant, they'll be on the town meeting warrant at town meeting. And then they would also need approval at the ballot. The way we're going to have it timed out this year is if something is approved at the on the warrant at town meeting, the at the annual election in May, you'll be voting for all the open positions, local positions, selectmen, planning board, things of that nature. You'd also have the opportunity to vote for the Proposition 2.5 request, and you would also, and I believe this is going to be happening. Um, there'll be a debt exclusion article on the warrant as well to either repair or replace whatever is determined to be the most appropriate way to fix the elementary school roof. That will be on the warrant at town meeting, and it'll also have a special ballot vote as an override debt exclusion um, at the elections as well. So we're trying to get everything on one ballot, so we aren't taking up any more time from people on a Saturday. It'll be an important discussion and decision to have. I'd urge everybody to stay informed with what's happening budget wise. There'll be updates on a regular basis on the town website. I'll also provide information and updates on my weekly TV show. So try to stay tuned. If you have questions, don't hesitate. Reach out. Be happy to try to answer those. Again, just a reminder: dog licenses are due. If you want to come in or go online and register your dog, you're more than welcome to do that. The election this year, town election this year, is going to be on May 17th on a Saturday at the Kingston Elementary School, just like it always is. So try to mark that down as well. Um, um, there'll be a lot of discussion over the next several months as far as capital planning goes, the budget process, the finance committee review of the town and the school budget. So everything is online, everything is live. So please make your feelings known so the elected officials in the community that make decisions can understand what the needs are and what the people's opinions are of the funding requests that are being considered. Important times right now. So try to stay informed when you can. And like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to try to answer any questions you have. So with that, I want to thank you very much for watching this week, and we'll talk to you again next week. Have a great day.